Aloha everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Join me as I take you on my investment journey and show you how I was able to retire and become a stay-at-home wife at age 30. Why, good morning! Last year, I opened a new brokerage account with Robinhood and started another portfolio from scratch to show others how simple creating passive income is. A while back, I made a video that featured an ETF called VOO. Click the link to watch it if you missed it. In that video, I explained why VOO was worth investing in. But that was so last year. There are some definite changes that need to be made.
Suppose you think I'm very brazen or très fou or something.
Long story short, I'm revising my exposure to the S&P 500 with SPMO. So, what is SPMO? Created by Invesco, that's right, the same company that created QQQ, SPMO, or Invesco S&P 500 Momentum ETF, is indeed based on the S&P 500 Momentum Index. SPMO tracks the performance of stocks in the S&P 500 index that have a high momentum score. The momentum score of a stock is a rating that shows how quickly the price of a stock moves upward or downward over the course of 1 year. Essentially, it measures the strength of a stock in a year's time. In fact, SPMO is another 5-star rated ETF on Morningstar. According to Invesco's website, SPMO is reconstituted and rebalanced biannually, usually occurring on the third Friday of March and September. Constituents are weighed by their market capitalization and momentum score. On their website, in the performance section, a chart is available comparing the S&P 500 Momentum Index, SPMO, and the S&P 500 Index, which are indicated by the navy, sky blue, and steel blue colored bars, respectively. Just by this chart alone, you can see that SPMO outperforms the S&P 500. But let's get into by how much it does.
Gracious.
Head to a site called tipranks.com. On their main page, click on the Tools tab and select Compare ETFs. Close out all of the ETFs that are already listed in blue by clicking on the white X's next to each ETF. Search and add VOO and SPMO to compare. In the performance comparison chart that was generated, you can see that SPMO absolutely outperforms VOO. If I change the time frame in the top right hand corner of the chart, it'll show that while VOO had a 23% gain, SPMO had a 44% gain. If I change the time frame to the 3-year chart, it shows that VOO had a 30% gain and SPMO had a 56% gain. And if I select the 5-year chart, VOO had an 89% gain, but SPMO had a whopping 134% gain. The numbers don't lie. SPMO has outperformed VOO consistently over the past 5 years. But why is that?
Just look at the goodies she brought with her.
Simply because they track different indexes and have uniquely allocated sectors and completely different holdings. While VOO's top holdings is basically the Mag 7, SPMO is only exposed to 3 of those 7 companies. If we compare sector allocations, SPMO is almost equally invested in the technology and the financial sector, which cannot be said of VOO, which allocates 31% to the technology sector and 13% to financials. And that's all because, again, the S&P 500 Momentum Index tracks the momentum scores of stocks and holds the top 100 highest scores, while the S&P 500 Index simply tracks the 500 largest companies in the U.S.
Oh, that's marvelous. It really is.
And to my favorite section, distribution schedule. That means one thing. I'm getting paid dividends. The same as VOO, SPMO also distributes dividends quarterly.
Please, darling, don't sit there looking at me like that.
Its distribution rate is 0.81%, which, again, I know isn't equivalent to a Tiffany ring or anything, but big picture here. Growth ETFs will grow your overall portfolio, and all that growth will increase my buying power so I can purchase more shares of my favorite high-yield income ETFs.
Well, let me tell you something, mister.
Now, let's add all those gains to my portfolio. If you take a look at the right-hand side of the screen, it shows that I have a recurring $20 investment in VOO. We're going to go ahead and change that to $10. With the remaining recurring $10, I'm going to purchase SPMO. Even though SPMO outperforms VOO, I'm going to keep both so I can continue to have exposure to the S&P 500, especially since the two indexes don't track the same things. The top 100 companies with the highest momentum rating versus the top 500 largest companies in the US. Thank you for having breakfast at Invesco's with me today. And as always, mahalo for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe to follow along. Till next time, bye-bye.